Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Bitten, episode 302, titled Our Own Blood, which premiered Friday, February 19, 2016 on Space Channel. So, quite a bit happened in this episode, guys. So let's start the 10-minute clock, and let's begin. So, something new that we learned in this episode, basically, it's continuing off from the threat that the pack has against the Russian mutt, Eduardo. I believe I associated him with the Spanish pack in the last episode, in the last video. I do apologize about that. It's the Russian one. It's basically stemming off from that. So we do see Eduardo actually attacking the pack for himself, and in the end, all of his men and himself are either killed or captured. Eduardo is actually the last one to be killed, and that is done by Roman, the Russian alpha, and Jeremy watching from the sidelines after having his spiel to Eduardo. And speaking of Roman, the beginning of the episode show him on a search for a witch, and when he does find a witch, she becomes in this trance-like state and brings up Sasha Anatol, who Roman's been looking for quite a few years because Sasha apparently betrayed him. And the witch confirmed that Sasha is going to be connected to Elena, or they're going to be coming into contact with her. She calls him the she-wolf, but since Elena is the only she-wolf alive, Roman knows immediately where he needs to go. So that's 2 weeks. That happens 2 weeks before the whole Eduardo attacking the pack. So just when they capture Eduardo, that's when Roman appears in Stonehaven, so that's why they're all a little on edge and suspicious about the timing. And then aside from the whole being attacked bit, we see Elena trying to get answers from Sasha, who's showing bits and pieces of evidence that prove that, okay, he may be her father. And also we do find out from Sasha, his kids, Katya and Alexei, find out that while Katya is still human, as stated before, Alexei is on the verge of having his first change as a werewolf. So he's definitely showing all the signs leading up to it. So now it's whether or not he will have that first change. And they're kind of preparing for that and the unpredictability behind that until he gets in control over his wolf. So there's that. So a most shocking moment of the episode has to be Russian alpha Roman and his ruthlessness. Okay, so he's basically the one tasked to kill Eduardo, which is kind of like Jeremy's gift to him, I guess you can say, because Eduardo is the one who betrayed the Russian pack. So Roman ruthlessness isn't just behind Roman taking a swing at Eduardo's jugular with an axe, and then that's it with the kill shot. No, he is continuously hacking away at Eduardo's body to the point that Roman is covered in his splattered blood. It actually reminds me of the whole Carrie-esque vision that Elena was a part of in the premiere episode and in the season 2 finale, and he was completely covered in red, and it was gruesome, and it just showed how ruthless he was because he was smiling underneath all that. He was pleased with the damage he caused, and it's just oh dear God, it's he's really the alpha. Is this really who Jeremy wants to align himself with, or not be on the... Of course he doesn't want to be on this guy's bad side. I mean, look at what he did to a guy who betrayed him. It's just ugh, that was shocking indeed, for sure. And it proves just why Sasha Anatol is afraid to be found by him, for sure. So, top 3 skipped a moment. Top 3 favorite moments, my bad. First one has to be all the fight scenes, especially with Clay and Elena. They definitely get all the fight scenes in this episode. We get Elena getting a solo fight in an alleyway with one of the werewolves that are following her that work for Eduardo. In the end, though, Sasha breaks the guy's neck before taking the body and driving off with his kids in the driver's seat. So that's he comes in, breaks the neck when the situation calls for it, and drives off. Right after Elena's had quite a good round with the fighter. But it was a great fight too, though. I really like that. And then later on we see Elena getting into a fight in the kitchen with Eduardo. going quite a few rounds as well. Really great stuff too. She ends up knocking him out and then locking up in the cell later on. And then there's also Clay's fight with Bucky, the double-crossing wolf, and in the front room. And in the end, he uses Bucky's knife to stab him repeatedly in the side when it's to drive a point home that you don't betray the pack. So all 3 fight scenes were fantastic, and I definitely love it for sure. Another favorite moment has to be Elena and Clay sticking together and viewing each other as family. They actually acknowledge the fact that Elena calls Clay her fiance. So there's that. I love the support between the two. I love that Clay wants to reassure Elena that he is always going to be there. He's always going to be her family, whether she knows who is her real biological family, whether it's Sasha, whether it's the parents she remembers. It doesn't matter, even though she wants to know the truth. It doesn't matter because he's still with her type thing. I really like that support and connection between the two. And they also had a little bit of an intimate moment together in the kitchen. So there's that as well. There's always one scene like it in every season for them. So there's that one. Next favorite moment has to be Sasha showing all his little proofs or evidences to the fact that Elena is his. We have his tattoo of her birthday on her arm, and I would have thought, like, well, what if he just got that before seeing her? It's like, I really like the fact, though, that she knew from the way it looked that it was an old tattoo. It wasn't just something he just got a few days ago because he found out where she was and wanted to instigate this plan out. No, the tattoo is something he's had for a long time, and I really like that as well. He also shows a baby booty that still has lingering perfume smells from Elena's mom. So I believe it's the same baby booty that Elena had in her own little childhood keepsake box. So I think that's what kind of pushed her over to believe him in the fact that he may be her father. And then there's also the photo that he showed her of little Elena with the parents she believes are her biological ones, because she was never given the impression that she was adopted. So that's kind of where it questions, but she questions how he could have gotten the photo in the first place. So I really like that he was prepared in all these different instances, even though I don't get why they don't just get a DNA test, have themselves do one themselves, or find a wolf who's in that field to do it, just to see if, like, okay, yes, they have the same genetic markers and stuff like that. So I don't get why they don't do that. But he's showing all the things why or how he could be her father. So I really like that, though. I really like he's putting the effort, even though he's 30 years late. He's putting in the effort to trying to reconnect with her. So I did like that. So top 3 peeved moments. First one, timing of Roman's arrival. Suspicious. Definitely helps that we had that flashback in Russia with him finding a witch. But I don't get why. I guess he really wants to find Sasha, but what did he do to make him come here? So it's a little worried, especially after his display on Eduardo. I'm a little worried about what he could do, or how he can make cause more trouble and stuff like that. Another peeve moment: Bucky the double-crossing wolf. He had me on edge the whole time he was in Stonehaven. It's like, oh crap, he's in our home camp. We have an enemy in our camp. It's like, no, when are they going to find out about... I really like the fact that both Clay and Elena were wary of Bucky, and they didn't, like, completely trust him. But it was like, he had that aura around him. It's just, like, creepy. And the way he was talking to Elena, too, pointing out the fact that she's a woman, doing woman's work, and how she's more fragile, even when she's a wolf and on edge, is just like, nope. You crossed the line, buddy. It's like, nope. Can Elena kick his ass right now? Really? Because I was really hoping for that. Apparently, she doesn't do it. But I'm glad Clay killed him, because I did not want to see Bucky again, for sure. Okay, so what I remember most about this episode, Our Own Blood was the title. There's different references about bloodlines and legacies and stuff like that. Even Eduardo mocked Jeremy for the fact that he doesn't have a blood relative. Everyone in his pack is basically adopted, essentially. So it's like Jeremy has no legacy to pass on, so there's that. Also, the fact that the whole threat Eduardo posed in the previous episode is kind of eliminated in this episode, so that was it. 2-episode fight from the looks of it. So now they gotta deal with Roman going after Sasha and all that. Random questions now. First one, will Sasha try the theory of Elena being a successful werewolf because she's a daughter of a werewolf? Therefore, the same could be said for his other daughter, Katya, if they were to ever think of turning her into a werewolf. I mean, I think that's still my theory. It hasn't been confirmed in the show, but I'm wondering if they have the same thought as well, or if they're ever going to have the same thought brought up. I hope they do, because I want that theory of mine to be confirmed or denied. So, there's that. Another question, will Elena tell Jeremy about Sasha and how he claims to be her father? Will she even tell Nick if she doesn't tell Jeremy? I don't think she will, after hearing that Sasha is running from Roman and Roman's back at Stonehaven with Jeremy. But not telling him is going to cause problems later on. And just for the record, guys, when I'm writing down these questions, I just realized when I wrote Elena and Jeremy in the same sentence, it brought me back to Vampire Diaries because there's Elena and Jeremy Gilbert over there. And it didn't dawn on me that the two names were the same until I wrote them down in the same sentence like that. So it's like Elena Michaels and Jeremy Danvers, and then Elena and Jeremy Gilbert. So it's like, why did I not think of that before? So yeah, it just funny little note about that when I was reading over the questions I'm about to say. Moving on, next question. What did Sasha do to get him running from Roman and the Russian pack? It must have been a huge betrayal to have them hunting for him for over 30 years. And he must be pretty good at evading a trail, too, if he's been hiding for 30 years, or more than 30 years. So, what did he do? I mean, at this point, with the ruthlessness we saw behind Roman, I'm more inclined to side with Sasha. Just because I don't want him to deal with to deal with that madness that comes with Roman, the Russian alpha. So there's that. So predictions moving on to that. I didn't see a promo, so I don't know what's happening next week. But I believe allegiances will be tested within the pack, especially now that we know that Roman is after Sasha. So, the way I see it split is going to be Jeremy siding with Roman against Sasha so that he can avoid being on the bad side of the Russian pack and having any retaliations done on them. So he kind of wants to keep that loyalty or that friendship intact. And if he has to go against Sasha for it, then I think Jeremy will do that. Therefore, if that's the case, then Elena's going to be siding against Roman, therefore with Sasha, because for all intents and purposes, this guy could be her father, so she's going to want to try to protect him. And enough said. Plus, there's also allegiances with the fact that, again, we see Elena kind of questioning Jeremy's leadership tactics. She says that she's tired of fighting, and Jeremy says, like, he's basically on the fight train. If this is what has to be done, then this is what we're going to do type thing. Even though she wants to step back and just not fight anymore. She's tired. So I think leaderships are going to be questioned as well, or challenged at least, as well as the allegiances within the pack changing. And another prediction, I believe Elena is going to learn more about her past, and then with that, she's going to learn whether or not she can trust Sasha, and whether or not he's actually her father, and if that's the case, then Katya and Alexei will be her half-siblings. Because we did learn that Sasha met Katya and Alexei's mother 10 years after Elena's mother was killed. Also, with Alexei's first transformation into a werewolf approaching, I think that Elena and Clay may help out with that, or provide some sort of support in that regards. And that's about it. So what did you guys think of the episode? Is it what you expected? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. I might talk about other videos that you follow as well. Also, if you want, check out my Tumblr page. It's not as extensive as all my other stuff, but the link for that will be down below. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate you coming to see what I have to say. about this show, and I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say for episode 303. But until then, this is Mel wishing you a great day, great week, wherever you are. Until then, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye for now.